All right, welcome everyone. It's so great to see you. Fantastic day, happy weekend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us live from. We are always so glad to have you join us. Today we're going to be discussing, oh, by the way, first I always like to say thank you so much for all the frontline workers, everyone that is making our world to keep going every day. We love you. We bless you. We are praying for you. Today, our guest is none other than Kayode Adebayo, all the way from Nigeria. Kayode is going to be walking us through some very interesting topic. I would bring him on. And can you hear me?
Yes, hello, good
Hello,
evening.
welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. How are you guys doing in Nigeria, right?
Well, Nigeria is fine. I think, yeah, it's fine. It's quiet. Here where I am, I'm not in Lagos now. My office is in Lagos, but I'm not in Lagos. I'm with my family in Ibadan. And
Okay.
here is not total lockdown. It's more of like we have a curfew. So it's like 6 to 6 in the evening, and then everything shuts down. But the activity is kind of as light as possible so that people don't connect to each other too long or too often for us not to, for it not to be a situation where people can spread the virus easily.
Okay, so
So
maintaining
things are fine.
the social distance, of course.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Please just quickly introduce yourself to us. I know you sent me a short bio, but I want you to. It's always best when people hear from you, right? So tell us what
Yeah.
you do and what we're talking about and everything.
Okay, my name is Moluka Adebayo, and I'm a Christian. I'm married with 3 children, and I'm a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University. By profession, I studied estate management in school, and since then, I've had interest in construction business and also hospitality business. And then right now, we're a little bit more focused. Not that we don't run the others, but we are kind of like building a media company right now that is more project focused because we are trying as much as possible to unite Africa together as one market and then operate as an African business and not just a Nigerian business. So that's what I do, basically.
That's super fantastic. I love it when you say operate as an African business, not just a Nigerian market, because most of the time, a lot of us see Africa as a divided nation, and
Yeah.
it's been hurting us rather than helping us. So I love that.
Thank you very much.
So, guys, today we're going to be talking in line with the diaspora economy
Yeah.
as a source of African power. And
Yeah.
Takayode is going to throw some more light on that. But if you're just coming in, thank you for joining. I see you. Please share the video because the information we're going to be getting here today super interesting and it will help you to know where to position yourself and also it would help somebody else. So please share the video. Follow him on official K
Hey,
Bio
bio.
on
Yeah.
Instagram. So I'll be
Social media,
posting
Instagram, Twitter.
yeah, so I'll be posting that. If you have any questions, send them to me. I received some few questions from some of you. Thank you guys, the ones that sent in. But as you're joining, please share the video. Let me not interrupt him. We are going to just take off from here and we listen to you.
Okay. This is my first time being here, so I want to understand the modus operandi. Is it that there's a question answer thing, or I just
Later.
keep talking?
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, okay,
Just
that's fine.
tell us your presentation, go ahead with it and then once questions come in, we take it and I don't like interrupting, especially when you're sharing valuable informations. You know what I mean?
No, that's fine. I just wanted to understand what it was,
Okay.
or how it operates, so that I'm not out of your show.
Oh no, we're
So
free. We're
yeah.
just very informal. So,
Okay. I think the topic basically is about we are talking about the African the diaspora economy. I call it the diaspora economy. I don't think there's anywhere it's stated that way. I personally just coined it that way, the African diaspora economy. And then we're trying to look at it more from a micro substance of saying that, you know, for anyone that plays tennis, you know how a power serve, when you talk about serving and all that. So we're talking about how the African diaspora is the power serve generally for the African continent. And why that topic basically? The topic is more of like helping people to understand the power of Africa as a continent, and then also the offshoot of Africa as the diaspora, collection, basically. Because when I say collection now, we have to talk about the diaspora across board. By virtue of the little travel that I've done around the world, I've always found out that anywhere you get to, you either are able to see, of course, Nigeria, based on our numbers, we are kind of like always have a heavy mass anywhere we go to. But also you're able to see that there are other African countries that have tits and bits, especially in numbers, that now form an African larger community. I noticed that a lot of times when they want to talk about things that have, peculiar interest to their gathering, to their group or to their country, they come together as small groups. But we've always had situations also where we see them come together in a larger group and operate as a larger group, especially when dealing with an external, with other external races, especially if they are domiciled in a particular place. There are a lot of times when what they go through is kind of common across board, regardless of who they are, regardless of which country they come from. Especially they have a lot of immigration issues. They have a lot of maybe economical issues. They kind of come together. I've seen situations where you see Nigerians working together with Liberians. You see them working together with East Africans. You see them working together with even sometimes Southern Africans. A lot of times you see Nigerian and Ghanaians working together towards trying to form a coalition towards achieving something. So one thing I noticed across the places I've been to and the interactions I've had across the world is that something is always very premium in their mind. How do I send money home? How do I send money home? How do I take care of the people that are home? Because for some reasons, there's an expectation placed on the guy that is not within his local environment, that has had the opportunity to be able to travel out of that particular his birth country into another place. The idea across board most of the time is that they are going to look for greener pastures. And when they feel it's greener on the other side, there is that expectation back from home that you need to bring something in. You need to send something in. You see them, the biggest pressure that they get is not even just trying to settle down first. It's not even just trying to see how I can get into the economy there first or get into education first. Most of the time, the first thing that comes into their mind is that how do I take care of my family back home? How do I look at, my mom is getting a bit older. I want her to be relieved of the stress. Or I have brothers that are going to school. They are looking up to me and all that. So naturally, whatever you focus your mind on so strongly, after a while, it has a way of manifesting. And the reality of it is that when you look at when you look at the globe, the revenue of Nigeria, let's pick Nigeria now as a case study. The revenue of Nigeria as an economy, especially when dealing on the global level, by the time you pick oil, which is like the mainstay of the economy, the second level of revenue that Nigeria has is the remittances that come from the international Nigerians outside there that are sending home. That's why you see a lot of remittance. A lot of companies are trying to enter into the remittance business. You see I don't want to mention names here because of course, I'm sure they didn't pay you for any of that. So you see, there are a lot of remittance companies, and those are even the big obvious ones. There are some that just run a credit and, debit and credit situation and small businesses. Okay, you want to get some money to Abuja, you want to get some money to Lagos, don't worry, I'll collect it here. There's a way we do it. Somebody on the other side will have a code. and eventually will allow you have money on the other side. So there is a lot of power, economic power, where you talk about the Africans that are in the diaspora. But one thing that I believe has not been really harnessed is the fact that these people at the diaspora level are not only just powerful, especially when it comes to the economics. Of course, they are in an environment where, when you look at the disparity, as of today now, I think the dollar hit 500 naira to $1.
US dollar.
Yes. So if you had your money in dollars, then you can imagine how much money you most likely will be exchanging it with naira wise when you are probably doing that transaction now. And then you can imagine the commanding power that your $1,000 from that place will do here. So if you're sending $1,000 to a family member now, you are giving that person 500,000 naira. That's like 500,000 naira. That's huge. So when you look at it from an investment perspective, that means that a fewer dollars that you're able to have wherever you are right now will be able to do quite a lot back home here, especially in the area of maybe investment, real estate, or trying to want to kind of sort some bills for the people that are local, the local people here back at home. One thing that is not put into consideration a lot, I know it gets thrown around a lot, but I don't think people have really thought about how concentrated that particular power is the not only the economic power, the cerebral power that the Africans in diaspora hold. Okay. I was talking with you yesterday, and I think we just kind of browsed through that whole topic. Mm-hmm. And for me, there has been a 20 years, 25 years, let me use the word carelessness by the leadership, these people to a very large extent. I think maybe with some level of maturity now, I'm starting to really look at it not from a blame game point of view, but from the fact that, you can only give what you have. Mm-hmm. Whatever you don't have, you can't give. So, for example, what does okay, now we are talking Zoom. Just very recently, we are all talking Zoom now. Facebook is adjusting putting some features in their operations now where you can have 50 people live on Facebook and engaging. WhatsApp is doing some adjustments. A lot of these streaming platforms are doing adjustments now, because the reality now is that we need to be away from each other and still keep things going. But what does a 75-year-old person or a group of, let's say, averagely a 60, 65-year-old people, how can they leverage that technology? That means if they were used to letters flying from here to here and it has to be hard copy letters, how do they get it into soft copy situations? How do they think of, okay, how do I store my documentations? How do I engage with those people, keep tasks going, and eventually feel as productive as possible? Mm-hmm. These are things that a generation, maybe our generation down, has been able to find a way to grasp and understand, because one way or the other, maybe they birthed us into most of these technologies and we grew with it as we were going on. A lot of people like my age had to really take time and engage with younger people to be able to make sure that they are up to par in engaging this technology. But how does a 65-year-old man, especially that has operated at a particular style for close to 40 years or more, how does he adjust when you tell him now that, sir, don't worry, you can send in as a soft copy? He says, soft copy? How do I now sign it?
Even the lingo, they don't
you can sign, guy, you can have, there's digital signature now. You mean it? Then how do we countersign? How do you collect your, so many questions. So you find out that a lot of things will fall through the cracks. And you find out that a lot of times inefficiency enters into the system when you start to engage them on the technology level. But the reality of it is that this is the world that we live in now. If you don't operate in that world, how do you engage with a Trudeau, for example, who is probably just a little above 40 years old?
Yeah.
And most likely he has been in rooms where they needed to even inspire the funding of small businesses that operate in that particular level. So the disparity is too much. I'm a bit understanding. I don't want to talk about the aspect of the corruption, the whole mismanagement of finances and all that. But the reality of it is that the diaspora holds a lot of cerebral power, because where we got it wrong 20-25 years education-wise, I went to a public school when I was growing through my primary school years. I went to a public secondary school also. It just had a mix of Catholic and all that. And most of the time, in those times, when they send you to a private secondary school or a private primary school, is that you just couldn't cope with the competitive nature of the public school system. So they needed to take you somewhere where at least, pardon my language, your nyash will go cover. And you can have, that whole idea of having personal tutelage, where they take you through it personally, because you couldn't operate at the. And meanwhile, when I was operating at that level, the news that I was hearing from the older generation then was that the education system has crumbled.
That was as far back as 20.
That was as far back as 20-something years ago. Because then, when we used to have all those ideas where we have JETs, that's junior electronic and technology or science or something, I can't remember anymore. We had literal and debating societies,
yes,
where we go and compete against each other,
Yes.
And eventually you're able to even say, oh, this is the best literature student in this state.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell you easily that this is the best science student in this state.
Yes.
But right now, it's not that anymore, and you can imagine how bad it is now. But one thing that has been very good to us somehow is that what we lost in that 20-something years has been given a translation somewhere else. And that translation has been that 20-25 years ago, when some people started to notice that there was a bit of a dwindle in that whole standard and all that, some people started traveling, either for economic reasons or for the fact that they wanted better opportunities for their children or whatever. They started traveling. And when they traveled, they had better exposure to education, to skills, to how to hone their talent, because in most of these Western economies, aside the fact that a little, the earnings that you earn, as little as they are, you can do so much back home.
It's getting static. I can hardly hear the complete.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
We can't hear the complete sentences anymore. It's becoming static.
Okay. Can you? Am I audible, or is still the same way?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I think she went off. So maybe she'll connect back. Let's just wait a little bit for her so we can continue our conversation. Yeah.
I think we got you back. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it's better now, Abi.
Okay. Yes. Sorry,
guys. Is this static?
No, it's good now. Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. Technical difficulty.
No.
Shooting all the way from Nigeria, so this is expected. Yeah. We're sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I'm laughing because I've been online quite a lot recently, so I've heard that particular statement so many times.
Yeah, because a lot of people are online.
Yeah. It's the traffic is huge.
Yeah,
the traffic is huge now.
Is not able to carry.
Yes, I was trying to. There's this thing that's been going on music battles. I think recently I saw one on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
Teddy Riley, the producer, and Babyface, the
And
producer, they were going head to
yeah.
head.
So there's a
And it
lot.
was a mess. It was a mess for, I think, a whole day, and they had to postpone it and all that. So
Yeah,
it's fine, no problem.
yeah. The
So
viewers
from what
understand. So go ahead.
yes, yes, yes. So from what I was saying, I said what we lost in that whole time, that whole 20, 25 years of our education being in shambles, even up to now, we kind of gained it back in the fact that it was able to translate into a lot of people living in the country and having superior education or superior cerebral engagement with the international community. Because I know a lot of my friends, and I too, I was able to have some stints abroad, especially doing some certificate courses, Chicago Graduate School of Business, Rutgers University. I am sure that the kind of people that we have from Africa and Nigeria, I'm sure that a lot of the questions that they had in those classes when they were there with their foreign counterparts was that, so what's the big deal about these people, really? Because not that they are extraordinarily intelligent or anything, because we noticed that a lot of Nigerians did very well, and most of them were able to come out of school. A lot of them are holding professional careers right now, medical doctors, lawyers. I have quite a lot of them, especially in the Western countries and all. So we've grown. Right now, it's just all of a sudden, the past 8 to 10 years, all of a sudden, it has been very cool to be Nigerian or cool to be African. Before, yeah.
You can say that again. You can say that.
Yeah, before, I can imagine what you guys that have been in the Western countries for very long. I can imagine what you guys went through. I can imagine those side abuses or side insults that you guys had to bear.
Absolutely.
And you had to still, run through your day-to-day life.
Absolutely.
I doubt if, with the Western, a lot of times the African Americans go through such arrangements, and psychologically it's hard for them to really be able to. But I think the whole thing about it is that you had a choice. You know that, okay, one day I'm done here, I might go back, or I might still decide to stay over. So you didn't really get to a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But now, all of a sudden, and I think a lot of it has been through our music and through our culture. It's been sold in a way now where it has become so cool to be Nigerian. Nearly everybody that was very quiet before, that didn't used to try to say anything about the African ancestry. You see them telling you now that they had to go and do an ancestry test. Oh, I'm 10% Nigerian. I'm Yoruba.
Right.
And they're telling you that you should come and... Yes. So I think that is where our power lies. That is where the missing link is. We've been able to express ourselves, escape. Some of us have been able to escape here. And believe you me, in anything that changed, in any revolution, in anything that eventually broke a particular norm and ascended into a higher level, it didn't need millions of people to do it. They only just had a few, a small critical mass that strongly believed in what they were doing and understood it so strongly that the rest could not but just accept it and decide to go along with them, and change happened. Yeah. So a lot of times when I listen to things like, oh, you know what, education, everybody needs to be this, I said, no, all we need is just a critical mass, a small group of people that really understand what this is about. And I feel that right now, we should be moving towards a kind of where our power is economically and cerebrally, is the fact that we have two expressions in one. There are those that are on the local level and have decided to hold things and hold stead here, and their feet and their energy and their capacity is deeply rooted in the ground here.
Okay.
They most likely, at best, they go and they come back. They travel out, they do engagements, they do business, and they come back. As someone like me, I don't think there has never been a time when I have wished that, I were living abroad. Because when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to you knowing and understand what most likely you were sent on earth here to do, the moment you're able to understand and figure it out that where that relevance is for you is here, where the purpose is for you is here, then the best you can do is travel, vacation, you travel, education, you travel, business, and all that, you come back. There are a lot of them that are like that here.
Okay.
Also, we now have the grace that we have people that are solidly doing well in the diaspora. Imagine what technology has done in the past few years. I doubt if there's any time you check your phone every day and you're not going to look for a Nigerian news.
Yeah, that's true.
To understand what is happening back at home, your heart is here.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you're expressing yourself to the highest level and the highest capacity. I see a lot of things that you do. And meanwhile, I don't know if I've introduced myself well enough. She's my auntie.
I was gonna give that away much.
Yes. She's my auntie. She's my mom's stepsister. I'm sure she changed my diaper one time or the other when I was coming up. So this is such a unique.
It is. If somebody had told me years ago that Kayode will be sitting with me talking from two different parts of the world, I would never believe that.
You can imagine. I remember when I was back in, not just to digress a bit, we're not just all serious stuff and tense. I remember those days when we were very small, my mom used to work at the General Hospital in Otukpo.
Yes. No.
And they bring us to grandma and grandpa, which you were like the custodians, really. Yes, you were the custodian. I think I came always with my two other brothers.
And
we were three. And Deji and Tunji, yes. So they bring us in, and then we go to St. Andrews.
That's where, you're very correct.
So Oche and Umbede will be the one that will take us there.
Yeah.
And they are like our bodyguards. They defend us and beat everybody up on our
You have serious good memories. Wow.
Yes, and we used to take Okpa every morning.
Okpa with grandma.
Yes, Okpa and Enyi. Yeah, there's Enyi Okola, and there's normal Enyi.
Sorry guys.
Enyi.
For you that like speak Idoma language, that is a language from Benue State where I come from. And like he says, his mom is my older sister. So that's simple. Anyways.
Yeah.
I was gonna give it away.
There are times when Idoma had saved my life. There was a time that we were going, when you were in university and you were still doing all those crazy stuff. So we used to go to Fela Shrine every Sunday.
Okay.
From Ife. We drive all the way. And I think I had a car in school. We drive all the way to. So the time the police stopped us on the road, and you know how they can be very unruly and
Yeah.
And while they were trying to harass us and all that, I just looked at the guy's chest and I saw his name, maybe or chair or something. And there were some guys and girls in the car. Immediately I just started speaking in Doma to the guy. The guy just I will Doma now. I said, I'm in Doma now. I just started talking. And after talking for a while, the guy, everybody was just looking at me with their mouths open because they had never seen me in that level before. And the guy just said, we should go. That even when we are passing through again, we should make sure that I say hi to him and all that. And these are just funny stuff, just to digress a bit.
Anyway.
So back to what we were saying.
Yeah, just one second for those of you that are just joining us. You're on to Chat Live with Queen Amina on the Queen Amina Show. Our guest is Kayode Adebayo. He's just giving you guys away that he's related to me, blood related. So there you go. He's discussing the opportunity the Africans have in the diaspora and the opportunity the diasporans have in Africa. What is that connection? That's what we're talking about. So go on.
Okay, so the topic basically is diaspora economy, Africa's power serve. And so what we're saying basically up to this moment was the fact that I was trying to emphasize on the quality of what is back home in Nigeria, and then to understand also the quality of what is out there in the diaspora. And the reality of it is that it's like a yin-yang thing. It's like a yin-yang thing. It's like if it doesn't fix together or come together to become one cluster, it will always be a missing link. There'll just be, it's like you trying to procreate without you having to come together with a man and a woman having to come together. So the translation is what you, the diasporans, have, especially in the area of the fact that there is a standardized level of exposure, there's a standardized level of cerebral capacity, and then there's also the economic power. I was listening to someone very recently, I think some months back, and he said, look, the reality of it is that the American economy was not designed for black people to be successful.
Why did you say that?
Well, that's what he said. He said when you look at the laws, when you look at the system and how all that was designed, it was designed in a way where they had power. The white, how do I call it now? A certain class in the economy had some power over who they allowed to go forward or who they decide to keep back.
But is that not the same thing in Africa? Africa has the rich and the poor.
Well, yeah, but the reality of Africa is that there's always that thing where you know that this is your home. For example, I always tell everybody, if you are not educated, if you don't have some level of education, your chances are not as huge as the guy that probably has education. Yes, I'm not saying there are not people that can't be street smart, but imagine if you...
Is that supposed to be, is that in Africa or worldwide? Because we have a lot of people that didn't go to school.
Yes, when I say school now, I'm not talking about brick and mortar.
Okay.
I'm talking about being able to expose yourself to knowledge that will be able to allow you to articulate yourself so properly in a way where the person that holds the opportunity on the other end is able to listen to you, understand what you are saying, and you kind of fuse together in ideas and decide to want to move forward.
Okay.
I know people that are homeschooled, they are geniuses. I know people that they didn't go to any proper structure, or they had to do a lot of traveling around, and they just decided at the time, the parents, that look, we homeschool you guys. And they are doing very fantastic in whatever they are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying was that in a situation where you, the diasporans, have the bridge that connects what we have lost in education, you have the economic power. You might not have the whole $1 million, but who needs $1 million when your dollar to naira is 500 naira?
Okay.
So that means that with only...
That brings me to a question to you now. Is Africa ready? Let's say the diasporans now said, I am going to, let's say 10 of them decides to go home somewhere in Africa and said, we are ready to invest in Africa. My question is Africa ready?
Africa, there's nothing that is ready. I think, I don't know if you know, there's this law in physics. They said everybody is in a place of inertia. Inertia is not movement until an external body impacts on it. Okay. So if you are moving, you are in a state where you are moving, you don't want to stop until something external affects you for you to stop.
Okay.
Then if you are not moving, you are in that position until something external hits you and you decide to move. So the reality of it is that there will be no ready time. It's just like telling you somebody wants to aim to become a billionaire. Is there any time that is right? No, there's no right time.
Okay, but
the reality of it is...
at least there should be something that the continent of Africa. So let's take a simple example, Nigeria. Yeah. Nigeria is the highest populated Black community in the whole world. Okay, so let's take, for example, Nigeria. What will attract another Nigerian person from the diaspora to say, I am going to Nigeria and I am going to go and build an industry that would start producing, let's just for example's sake, let's say coffee. What is put in place that would encourage me as an investor, as a young investor, to want to come to Nigeria? Take, for example, when you come to Nigeria, there's so many things that you are being careful about. Okay, we talk of the world of corruption. We talk of the world of cheating you. We talk of losing your life. We talk of Boko Haram. We talk of electricity, power. Just so many things. You know, haven't lived outside.
Let me ask you a question. Can we really boldly say that America, for an example, is safer than Nigeria when
No,
it
no,
comes to losing your life or not.
far away from that. But my point is, just like this COVID-19 that just
No,
came up now, they're saying that they're raising funds for the
I'm
diasporans to
just
come
saying,
home.
yeah.
How will anybody want to leave this situation now and start flying to Nigeria? That's my question.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Are we prepared? What is there to
Yeah.
interest the investors from the diaspora to come to Africa to invest? Because me and you understand that Africa is the world that everybody will want to go to very soon.
Okay, let me, okay.
Go ahead. Can you hear us? Yeah, guys, I think we're having that again. I'm just going to refresh his, maybe he would refresh. Can you hear us now?
Are you good?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
There's something they call strategy.
Mm-hmm.
There's something they call strategy. Strategy, a lot of times I want to be a little bit careful not to say that I think sometimes the diasporan Africans feel a little bit entitled. Pardon my French.
Okay.
Entitled in the sense that, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Entitled in the sense that these are people that left this country or left this continent. They went international. They understood what they left behind.
Mm-hmm.
They came into this Western situation. They ran. Imagine all they had to go through before they broke into that space where things started to kind of like, palm out a bit better than when they started.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm sure this is in decades. It's not even in 1 year, 2 years. This is a decade, at the very least a decade, for you to settle down and now start to say, okay, you know what? I want to feel like people that are here.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment you want to do that, I don't think anywhere you go to and you don't start to, if you don't start to own real estate, you probably are not them yet. You are not really fully on ground yet. Mm-hmm. But by the time you start to look at, oh, okay, you know what, I want to invest here, put money down. So that means that you came into that whole place, you had to spend at least 10 years to understand the situation there, to understand the system, to position yourself in a way where you go with a flow that works with you before you now started to say, okay, you know what, I want to participate in this economy as someone that is part of them. But what I get a lot of times is that you now see diasporans, they want to come back home and they just want to hit the ground that same day and start running. It doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. When you are looking at a particular place, any economy that you go to or any situation that you are in, there is how things work there. You have been detached from this place for quite a while. So most likely you are a little bit behind on how things work here.
That's right. So
when you come back, there is a period also where you have to, one way or the other, seep into the society, understand, things from a psychographical point of view, how people think here, how people work here, and you slowly merge into the system back and then start to engage. But the reality of it is that the diasporans, a lot of times, that's where they get it wrong. They pull up their bag, they sling their bag on with maybe some checkbooks and maybe some stash in their pocket. They aim for a factory or they aim for a land or they aim for one investment or whatever. They land on ground, they lodge in a hotel. They want to quickly pull up those meetings and 3, 4, 5 meetings, and they want to see those things get done immediately and, pam, 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 like Lego.
So what you're saying is if anyone wants to come from the diaspora to Nigeria or Africa, anywhere, to come and start an investment, they should plan for a long-term stay, not a quick.
Yes, they should be more strategic about it. They should be more strategic about it. For example, the diaspora, what makes business work anywhere? Business in any economy is not totally detached away from the politics of that economy.
That's right. That's correct. I agree.
That means that for you to really have proper business running, look at the biggest businessmen in your economy where you live in now, even in the other economies. They have some level of connection with the power and the say in policies. So if you come and one way or the other want to engage here, what is the diasporans, for example, doing in trying to want to stabilize some level of politics here based on their level of experience? So as I said, it's not a one-off thing. It's not something that you come and you land on the ground. I've done businesses on both sides, and I understand how these things are. I don't go into New York, for example, now and I say, okay, you know what, I want to. I have a business in the US with some partners. I don't go into that place now and just try to tell them that, okay, this is how it's done, this is how it's done. No, they are more in tune in how things work there. I submit myself to the understanding there. My own intelligence or whatever help me to understand and look through the books and say, okay, things are fine. When they are coming here also, they have to kind of like be subtle and be a little bit, not, if not the short, you can't be thinking short term when you want to come and back and plug yourself back into Africa. You have to look at it from a more middle term and then maybe on the long term.
Okay. So
that's my own point of view.
So the people that are interested in, like some of us are watching, I know there's a Nigerian guy from Philippines watching us right now. And one of his comments, he said, there is nothing prepared on the ground for us to be able to go back home. So if somebody wants to go home now to go and invest, you are saying that first they need to be strategic about it, get a partner on ground.
Come and even understand what is on ground.
Come and understand what is on ground, get a partner there and connect with the power, the political power.
Yes. To a very large extent.
Political power, because I'm saying it with no apology, they're corrupt. Simple.
And see, political power is not that you should go and know the president.
Okay.
You want an investment, for example, you want to put an investment up in Ikorodu.
Okay.
Do you even know the chief of, you do know the head of the local government of that particular place?
Okay, on that level, okay. Okay.
Yes, and you build it up
a little bit. Relationship with okay.
You didn't get into, for example, part of my Philippine friend here. You didn't just get into Philippines and you just became that grand master there.
No.
Obviously. You had to go through a process. There is patience. There is that part of, number one, there has to be the love first. The love. Auntie, I've seen you do what you do. I can assure nearly everybody here that if I look at the efforts you put in over the returns you've gotten economically, it most likely is not at par.
No.
But you keep at it because you so love what you are doing. That is how to even start anything. Someone was saying very recently, a billionaire was saying recently, I think they were discussing and it was on the podcast. He was telling the other billionaire, he said, you can't be a billionaire by working for money.
No, money has to work for you.
Yes, he said you have to love what you are doing so much that you even ignore money.
That's right.
And you become so good at what you are doing, then money becomes the reward for your expertise in that situation.
That is so true.
So what I'm saying to anybody here that is listening, that is thinking about coming home and all that, I believe that don't come say you have packed your bag full of dollars, you are landing and you want that thing done next month. No.
Okay.
Be strategic about it. Put a 2-year plan behind it. Put a 5-year plan behind it. Okay. Start to come back home little by little. Look at what is on ground. Form the necessary relationships. As much as possible, take that whole toga of I'm from abroad and put it away.
But
where your Ankara.
That don't roll in Nigeria though. Because the people on ground in Nigeria know more of the abroad you are coming from than you yourself. They have experienced that. You know those I'm from abroad, those long gone. Those
so blend. Wear your Ankara and be part of the system. If they are going to one world meeting, for example, just go and be quiet there and just even listen. Try and understand who is the key guy here.
Yes.
Kind of like, stay with that person and kind of form a relationship. Visit him once or twice. Buy him maybe one bottle of wine. And then there starts to become a relationship. And it's a gradual process. You just landed in here. Because let me tell you something. The reality of it is that most of the people that you are coming back home to meet here, you have to kind of like, they have to trust you.
That's true. Just as much as you have to trust
You
them.
have to trust them also.
So
And that
there's
is
no
just
sense of ownership, like this thing, they have to do it for me. No. Join them, watch
no.
them,
Don't
learn
be,
from
don't be,
them.
don't be, don't feel like a lot of times. And the reality of it is that I have a lot of people that have to come home for business or traveling home. I want to. They are very entitled. God forgive me here. Wife, they are very entitled. Oh, because I'm coming from somewhere, things are more organized. I come out of my house, I see there's no B105 waiting for me to take me to the next bus station, and all of a sudden I start to complain. Oh, this Nigeria self. Oh, this because self. That was what you saw exactly, and you left the country.
So,
And meanwhile, we've not had better leadership. You might just be that leader that we are waiting for, that will probably bring your own sense of. As I was telling you yesterday, we are not different from the Jews when you look at their stories.
okay.
They are not different from them. They were displaced from where they were. They were taken and scattered everywhere, which is what, for some reasons, economics have taken us and scattered us all over the world.
That's correct.
When you look at Jews
There's
also, you
Nigerians
don't.
everywhere. The day that
Yeah.
I gave up on looking for Nigerians was last year when I was in Tanzania, inside the middle of nowhere called Karatu, bush, like you would never believe. There was the only hotel that was in that bush. The whole bush was one camp that we stayed before we go to Ngorongoro, the natural crater. This one of the seven wonders of the world.
Wonders of the world, yes.
The cook in that hotel was an Igbo man. I gave up.
Can you imagine? Yes, now. Look, Auntie, there are Nigerians in the Himalayas mountain.
Oh, yes. They used to say that if you go anywhere, you don't see a Nigerian person, run.
One thing that has connected us very, very recently, 8 to 10 years ago, has been our culture. And one of the strongest part of that culture has been our music. Nigerian music has moved everywhere in the world now. It is not because of the fact that there was a superior distribution system. No, it is just that Nigerians as human beings are the distribution themselves.
That's correct. That's correct.
I was on the streets of Maryland. I think I was on the street of, I came out of a meeting and I was waiting for an Uber, I think somewhere in Maryland or something. And somebody just started, you know how we play sound music in Nigeria universities, when you increase the sound system so loud, everybody. A white dude put on the sound speaker so loud and he was playing whiskey and just jamming it and just going and I was like, wow. I got into the cab and I think I was heading for Virginia or something. I can't remember. I think I was going to Virginia for another meeting or attending one course or something. In the car, it was another Nigerian song that was playing. And it's like that everywhere. And the taxi guy was asking me, oh, you Nigerian? I said, yeah. I said, oh, this is your music, right? I said, this is our music now, and he said, oh, I'm friends with a lot of Nigerians, oh, I like such music. I like Afro beats a lot,
So let's drive this back home. The truth is, Nigeria has a lot of resources, a lot of natural resources, and we have the manpower and we have the intellectual know-how. Okay?
Yeah.
What has been the problem? Whether diaspora or locally, what do you think is the problem? Why we cannot have a global impact that the whole world will be looking into Nigeria just like the whole world looks into China? What has been the issue?
Well, I think the biggest issue there is that 65, 70-year-old people run the government.
Okay, that answers the whole question.
They don't even understand all these things that you are talking about. Yeah, you don't even understand what you are talking about because these people are used to oil. Let me give you an understanding now. Look at how successful our Nollywood industry has been. Yes. I'm not saying it's paying the biggest bucks, but how popular it is.
It is very.
Look at how popular our music is. Mm-hmm. Look at how popular our music is. These are industries that were created by sheer passion and some marketers in Alaba that was looking for opportunities that can be leveraged on their distribution channels that they have all around.
That's correct.
I decided to finance products, create them, and then one way or other distribute. This industry that I've just talked about. Look at our fashion industry, how blossoming it is. I'm not saying it's the most organized industries, but these are things that one way or the other. You say what?
It's working. It's working. I mean,
yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
Yes, as you are there now, if you want to get an Ankara done in the best of styles, I'm sure you can get to you in the next 2 weeks.
Nigeria.
Yes, somehow.
Yeah.
Look at those industries. Those industries have been controlled by passion and been controlled by the sheer will of people to want to be enterprising.
That's correct.
It doesn't have any government control.
No.
It's just working out of demand and supply.
And we're not talking of tourism yet. We're not talking
of tourism. That's why I have a project I'm running called the Unfazed Expo project.
Okay.
That project is about expanding global opportunities for African creatives in music, film, fashion, food, arts. One of those things that we do is we built it on 3 philosophies: capacity building, which is the knowledge of the business behind your talent. Okay. Then networking, local and international, and then showcasing.
Okay.
We have scaled it. The business has grown so fast, and it has grown so fast because the people that are in this industry, I came from a private sector point of view, so I do things from a private sector point of view.
Okay.
It has grown so fast.
You a question on that, the public-private partnership, how it
works. Yes.
No,
it works. It can work. So what I'm saying is that something like oil, imagine, we talked about Inertia the other time. Yeah. Imagine if you were a 65, 70-year-old person that you went to school by government scholarship. Mm-hmm. You came back home. All while you were there, government was subsidizing your welfare and whatever. You came back home. You were put in the public sector, some office, in the secretariat somewhere. You were given official car. You were given official house in Ikoyi. Then you get extra codes, salaries, and everything government. Mm-hmm. Anything that comes to want to shift you away from that particular position becomes a threat. That's why they can die on that seat and do anything to stay on that seat. Because they don't even know what else to do. They don't even understand any other thing. But thank God now that we are having an experience now where the oil seems to have crashed. So
yeah, absolutely.
There needs to now
crash for a long time.
Yeah. So now oil has crashed. The fight that the cerebrals, the talents, the private sector guys have been fighting. I've been all around, at least to a very large extent. I've been to the north, I've been to the west, to the east, and southern Africa. It is only Nigeria that I know has private banks that are Nigerian banks that have grown to the level where they've expanded into the bigger Africa. Wow. Nearly every bank that is in every other African country is owned by an international bank.
Wow.
That gives credence to the fact that Nigerians have that fighting spirit. While we were home here, for example, look at our media. Our media initially was controlled by South Africa. The moment Nigeria got a grip of themselves, maybe just 12 years ago and thereabout, we don't even know whether those South African media companies still exist anymore.
That's correct. Anything Nigeria gets into, they do it better. That's true.
Exactly. So the idea right now is that you ask that question. The question is because those people that are there, I want to imagine you and I now, just because we are family, imagine going to one of those, our grandpa's level now, and telling him and putting him in Minister of Agriculture. Where does it go?
Where does it start?
Where would that industry go?
That's correct. Anyways, before I let you go, we have another few minutes before we go.
Okay.
There's a question from the audience, but this one that I want to ask you is very, very important. From everything that you've said today,
Okay.
it's more or less
Yeah.
encouraging the diasporans to come to Nigeria to invest. And you capped it with saying, when you're coming to Nigeria to invest, don't come with a sense of entitlement. Come with the fact that you
are doing a long term.
Doing a long-term thing, plan with the people, build relationship.
You are being strategic, yes.
Strategy, get to know the society, be patient. It's one big one, okay? And listen more than talking, because these people are on ground.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
patient,
one of my questions personally is,
exactly,
who do you think
exactly
in today's economy and the future of the world, who do you think is going to survive all of these things that we're saying? Is it the people doing it the traditional way, or the people moving into the artificial intelligence, the tech world? And what is your advice for anybody that wants to come and invest right now? Which area should they be looking at?
Well, I will advise education.
Okay.
I will advise health. And I will advise the creative sector.
Which is?
And when I say the creative sector now, I'm talking about anything that has to do with some form of content.
Okay, entertainment.
Content in music. Yeah, well, they call it entertainment, but it's really bigger than entertainment. For example, there's no reason why you can't have a digital educational product that you sell.
Okay.
You understand? You capture it, you put it together properly, it's digitized, you put it online, people can buy it, especially when they see there's value in there. Okay. So anybody right now that is in the content space, content from music, content from film, because right now there's a whole lot of technology telecommunications will blow up. Okay. I'm here with you now. I wouldn't be doing that without a telecommunication company.
I know, yes.
So imagine how much they've made since this whole COVID situation has happened.
Big, huge.
So the moment you have such an agreement happening, so the moment you have such a situation happening, telecommunication cannot survive without content. What you are doing right now is content.
Correct.
You are putting this together. Most likely you can save it up somewhere, or you can touch it up and edit it somewhere. If you decide to make this an e-product, for example, and if you decide to make it a digital product and hang it somewhere in a digital store, and you put a kind of value on it and all that, you might be very surprised that some people will pay for that.
You're giving away.
And when you have an internet, well, I'm just saying that. So anybody that wants to invest right now, because for us, we don't run an entertainment company, we run a media company that is heavily invested in the creative sector. And we are working one-on-one and a lot of direct interactions with experts and business leaders in that particular space, be it music, be it film, be it fashion and all that. And why we are doing that is because we want to be able to impact and help them to understand the business behind, because we know that there is a wave that is coming. And if they don't ride on that wave, it will be second slavery again.
That's correct.
Because the Western guy that understands the value and sees a 1.3 billion people market will come in, put in his money, sit down somewhere, put you out there as jackals, you do the work, and eventually he's reaping all the.
They're doing it already. It's just going to get
already. Netflix is
more
exactly.
Netflix was in Nigeria recently, and they've almost taken over the market. See, I'll tell you a story. I'm in the movie industry too.
Yeah.
There's a young man that approached me. I think he's even online watching. Chuku Samuel, I'm going to take your question next before we shut it down today, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I see some people just coming in. Please share the video. Even if you're just coming in, you can still share the video and they'll watch it later. Thank you so much. So what I was saying is there's a young man that just approached me recently while I was in Nigeria before the COVID thing. And he has a platform called Netflix. And the Netflix is to
Netflix, as in not a Nigeria Flix.
Exactly. So
boy, that person is as hammered.
Okay,
please continue.
He had it and he told me, and I was just going to tell you when you said there's a wave that is coming. If you don't ride on it, you're gonna miss it. So he told me, say, come and invest in this. And I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, I would like it. I would like to invest in it. But I got so busy that I didn't call him back to talk to him.
Yeah.
Today I go to ask him what he was offering me has tripled. that was from January to
Yes,
now.
From you came out, you are coming in late now.
I know.
You are coming in late.
Go get it.
Everybody that came into Facebook late.
Oh,
imagine what they lost.
I know.
So
guys, if you see an opportunity, go grab it. That's basically what he's saying. Be on the boat. Don't be spectator.
Anything that is educational, that is digital right now, anything that is farming will do very well right now. Anything that is even health driven right now.
Okay.
Because these are essential needs, basically.
That's right.
So those things will work.
Even now and post-COVID, it's still going to be essential. Education and health, there's still...
No, it has to be, because those are where the budget will go after COVID now.
Okay. So
those are where the budget will be driven towards, education and all that.
Exactly. Someone has a question. He said, and this I have to wear my glasses because it's so tiny. Send it to me on WhatsApp, guys. Just kidding. Okay. Question, please. He said, currently, are there strategies to help an investor business thrive? When the political when the political policy of Nigeria is structured not to enhance the growth of businesses proven over the years. So he's talking from experience as per he get business for Nigeria, because of the political jackal, they will never be able to move from one level to the other and grow in their business.
Well, as I was saying, I think we mentioned that answer in our conversation already. You have to come in, you have to be humble. You come in, you want to feel, you want to be the big shot. You probably want to go to Buhari's office or go to Oshibajo's office, go and sit down there and all that. Those people don't have anything
to offer you.
They don't know anything about the grassroots, because eventually your business will be situated in a location, right? And eventually there are some people that have the local power to decide what is happening in that location or not. I think it's about coming from the ground up, basically. Proving businesses, there's nowhere business is proving. There's nowhere. I was an assistant to the head of chancery in China for 5 years, and which is Uncle Ogbole. And I saw how business was done there. McDonald's came into China. They had to adapt to the Chinese way of doing business. Domino's came into China. They had to adapt to the Chinese way of doing business. They came in with that first initial gra-gra. But they saw the numbers were flying out of the door, and they had to adapt. And big businesses, when we talk about Google, everybody knew about the Google story. Google went with that whole toga of, we are that whole global business. They went into China. By the time the Communist Party cleared them, they went back and reconfigured themselves again. They had to now come to the level of, when you see and eventually they came in and they now came in humble, and they had to start from the back. But when you see people, you are going in there, you go in with some hands of, social impact first, and gradually you build into some private sector interest and all that. Bill Gates did fantastic in bringing Bing to China. And he didn't believe and forcefully say Bing needed to be in front of the other Chinese company that was doing exactly what he was doing. He had to queue behind the Chinese search engines, and now gradually grew his business to that level. So I think, as I said, when you are coming in here, don't come in entitled. Come in and be ready to start from the ground up, just like it is in every economy. Try and understand how things happen here. Who are the main principal players here? Who is to form associations with? And who is to, there's so many things and many ways to be able to go about it. But as you said, patience, then don't do the short-term thing and come in and want to just land and go. What I wanted to say before she even closed up was that, look, just like the Jews, we need to unite, diasporans and local Africans. We need to unite. We can't be afraid of each other. The diasporan is coming home and he's all scared. When I enter Africa, my brother, I won't lie to you. This Nigeria that I know, people will carry your money like this. They will turn it into coins and hand it over to you. The money you are bringing is no big deal. When a Nigerian man hears $5 million, he's not shaking. He's not thinking that, he's not shaking. You understand? Because the Nigerian man has so much of a big ambition that most likely, it might be a bit awkward what he's thinking about. But when you, as an American, you have $50,000, you are like, this money, life and death. Look, I think there's a need for, I'm hoping that this medium will help us to be a bit more casual. You don't see the Jew, when a Belgian Jew meets a Norwegian Jew, they don't just have their antennas out and the first thing in their head is fear.
No.
They are first connected with the ideology of, okay, he's one Yeshua, I mean, he's one Jehovah first, he's one Torah second, and then we are Jews.
They are Jews, yes.
We share a common old bond. I think that is the first thing that we need to do, the diasporans and the local Africans. We need to first understand that the interest that we are putting first is African.
That's correct.
We love Africa. We want Africa to thrive. Imagine I have a friend that's on our network. He's a painter. He's an artist, creative artist. His work was, I'm not sure if you've seen this film before, When They See Us, that big film in Netflix.
Oh, yes.
When They See, his artwork is one of the arts that were used to design the sets in that film. And he's a Nigerian. He lives here.
Whoa.
Netflix, yes. Netflix called him, what's her name? Duvernay. Ava Duvernay her team called him again that they still want to use one of his art pieces for another film. These are guys that all live here.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is that there needs to be we can't move forward as Africa. I won't lie to you. If what you are seeing is that small land that you want to go and build your fashion industry in or your state, and you just want to come, detach yourself from everybody and just build your factory, and then you now expect customers to come in. How does that happen? There needs to be a bond. There needs to be a unity that happens so that we don't get scared of each other. I don't live in it. I hear a lot of things about. You hear a guy, for example, he's telling you that he's prideful about telling you that, my brother, where me I dey stay for California, now only whites they where they stay. The wala of that, then blacks, then wala for black people is too much. What is that? It doesn't make any sense, because it's not that white guy that eventually. So what I'm saying is, because we need to start to encourage each other's businesses, patronize each other's businesses, use our law practice to employ other Nigerian law students that have been exposed, that are in the same country with you, to take them from where they are to where you are, so that by the time you do that for him, he owes another extra 3 students that are Nigerian students in that country that you are, to do the same thing for them also. If you own a supermarket, for example, or you know of a supermarket that is Nigerian owned, go there and patronize that business and help that business to grow. If, for example, you know a Nigerian medical doctor, he owns a clinic, make it a point of duty to patronize that clinic. If he's not up to the standard yet, by the time he sees your patronage, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, it's natural that he wants to touch things up and get it to that standard. A Nigerian person owns a restaurant down the road, or the main street of where you stay. You say, I'm a Nigerian restaurant,
you won't go there.
A Nigerian restaurant, I know if you go there. Why not? The Chinese will not leave their restaurant and go somewhere else.
That is so funny that you're saying that, because yesterday, me and my children, we were supposed to go do grocery, and there were some things that we buy from Chinese store. So I said to them, I said, let's go to Chinese store, and everybody was like, so I'm like, why?
Yeah, no. Those Chinese people will suffer a lot of emotional and economic issues for the next few years.
Yeah, the thing really, just to buttress what you're saying, is the era of we Africans, I'm not saying Nigerians, Africans, being afraid of each other has long gone. What the world is capitalizing on, and has been capitalizing on, is the fact that Africa as a continent is divided into minute portions that
Exactly.
are powerless.
Exactly.
Because the smaller you are, the less power you have. You know,
Exactly.
how can you take a place like Mali and call it a country?
Exactly.
That's a topic for a whole other time. But what we're saying is when you see a brother anywhere,
Yeah.
the first thing you would see is you are a black person. You are a person, not even the color.
Yeah.
You are a
Yeah.
person. You're a human being like me. Connect with that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Become blind to color, become blind to race, become blind to height, become blind to weight, become blind to whatever age. Just this is a human being like me. Connect on that
Yeah.
level first. And that will ease the fact that you'll be able to trust the God in that person. So it's going to
Yeah.
come. It's going to come. I have faith. I have faith. It's going to come. Well,
No,
guys,
it will. It will. A lot of things are happening that I feel that are taking us in that
oh,
direction.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So please give us your final words and how people can get to you and whoever is interested on the platform to learn more about Mr. Kayode, he's going to tell us how. I put his social handle banner up there. So quickly take a snapshot of it and go follow him on Instagram as soon as you can so you don't forget it. So please go ahead.
Yeah. So my for anybody that wants to be friends with me, you know, there is my social media handle is there. We are doing quite a lot within the African continent, which I feel that we need a lot more people to be interested in it for it to be more impactful, basically. So my social media handle official K Bio, that's official, then KBAYO, one word, at official K Bio on Instagram. Is the same address too on the same handle too on Twitter. I'm not really a very big Twitter person. Then on Facebook, I think I'm maybe Adebayo or Kayode Adebayo or something.
Yes, I'll post that.
We have a platform that we have a project that we are running. As I said, it's called the Unfazed Expo project, which is to be able to help creative industry professionals to to kind of like understand the business behind their talent, dominate their market, and then expand out into the global space for better economic returns. It's called the Amfest Expo project. www.amfest, that's AMFESTEXPO.com. AMFESTEX for xylophone, po.com. I'm sure you'll be able to get a lot of information there. We're about putting together a challenge, a global African challenge now. It's a music, we call it music versus virus, which will be for the music industry people. We have producers from all over Africa have donated their intellectual property in beats to us. And the idea is I want to get the whole Africa to probably come listen to those beats, download the ones that you prefer the most, then do and render a song on it, and then put it on social media. We are looking for the first 20, then eventually we'll narrow the first 20 to first 3, and then the first one. And we are hoping that most likely it might lead us to cutting an album, a global African album for this COVID, how Africa was able to overcome this COVID virus thing, like we are the world kind of thing. So
nice.
It's something I'm sure you'll see it on social media somewhere. And if you see, just support us, follow us, and I'm sure it will be quite engaging.
That's fantastic. Do you sing?
Thank you. Me sing? I can't sing to save my life. That's why I like to support singers.
Right.
So with this, yeah. So
I
do some executive producing for music.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for having me on this.
It's been a wonderful.
Thank you for the insightful discussion, and hopefully post-COVID, maybe we'll be in Canada.
Absolutely.
Delivering 1 or 2 of those things, and under your umbrella.
Yes, absolutely. You should come and shoot a movie here too. Why not?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kayode.
Thank you so much.
My regards to your family.
Thank you very much.
Take care. All right, guys. That's 8 for today. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I cannot mention all of you guys' names. I see you. I love you. Again, without you guys, we will not be able to be coming live like this. Tomorrow, it's another fantastic time with our pastors on the seat. We call it the Church Without Walls. So we put the pastors on a hot seat where we ask them questions. They're going to give us their opinion based on the Bible. So if you attend any church and you cannot ask them questions during the service, which is not advisable, this is a platform created for you, either a Christian or non-Christian, to ask biblical questions, and the pastors will answer you. On Monday, we have a fantastic speaker. She is going to be talking about the future of investment into real estate. So if you're interested in knowing how you can start your own real estate investment without having to have large amount of money, please make sure you're joining me on Monday by 2 p.m. And then our website is coming up very soon. You will be able to see our program 1 month ahead. So for now, it's a daily show, 2 p.m. Toronto time, 7 p.m. Nigeria time. So please join us live here on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Let's build that place, because we'll soon be broadcasting live on Instagram too. Right now, we're on YouTube. As I'm talking to you, you can still go on our YouTube channel. It's live there too. Again, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you same time tomorrow, same place. Take care. Bye.